What's up, guys? KAMIKAZE-FOX coming to you from International Racing League F3 Season 8, Round 10 here at Brazil. And coming down to the last couple of rounds here for Season 8, Brazil this week, and then next week we'll be at Singapore for the championship finale, and we've got ourselves a three-way championship battle after last round at Spain, where Alejandro Gapar walked away with his second pole position, not only of the season, but a second pole position in a row, and also walked away with another win and was able to capitalize on the DNF of championship points leader Ben Fernandez. So Alejandro Gapar is now your new championship points leader after picking up his third win of the season. Bjorn Langfeld getting second place last week in a much needed podium for him. And Logan Aron, the American, trying to keep himself in the championship battle, picking up a fifth podium finish of the season for him. As it stands, the top three in points is Alejandro Gapar with 156. Ben Fernandez falls to second with 144 after his DNF. Logan Aron not completely out of it, but going to need a lot of work to do as he sits back in third with 127 points. Brandon Villegas had a good run last week at Spain. He qualified second, finished fourth. Adam Corrigan was fifth. Kevin Harrison sixth. James Hallworth was seventh. Jack Yates was eighth. Peter Sundberg was ninth. And Ben Fernandez was 10th, but he was the first of the DNFs. Him, Adrian Villarreal, and Rowan Lakely, unfortunately, all rounding out your 12 drivers for last week. 10th, 11th, and 12th all having DNFs. And Rowan Lakely, for him, unfortunately, that was his third DNF in a row. And unfortunately, I was not here last week to commentate, so I want to give a shout out to Sandre Sauerhog filling in for me. And on that note, I do have to make an announcement that this, for the time being, will be my last season with IRL. I have some personal issues that need attendance in the future, and I will not be able to participate on a regular basis for the International Racing League. And give a shout out to the league. I was with this league way back in Season 3. When it was still run and operated by Cameron Weston Edwards, who had handed off the league after that season to the likes of Sandre Sauerhog and Brandon Glover, and those two, along with the admins of Jared Fosbury and Kevin Harrison, Jack Yates, and a number of others, have taken the league to what it is today. But unfortunately, after round 11 next week, I will not be able to participate, at least for Season 9 moving forward. A little bit of my future remains to be unseen, so going to try and finish out this last portion of the season on a high, especially with the championship battle going on, and that is that. So don't want to put a downer on the whole stream, so let's move on to the driver lineup. We've got Sandre Sauerhog and Kevin Harrison rocking the Alfa Romeos, James Hallworth in the Racing Point, Peter Sundberg in the Williams, Louis Quinlan is going to be in the McLaren, Ben Fernandez, Red Bull, and Catboy Kyle, don't know who that is, I can't remember, in the AlphaTauri. Shay Fox will be filling in at the Mercedes-AMG Paternus for T. Jonas, who will not be making it today. Thomas Mumford is going to be in the Renault, Rowan Lakely in the Ferrari, TRT James in the other AlphaTauri. Epic the Animal, that's Logan Aron, followed by his teammate Thomas Zentner, are going to be trying to put in a good workout today for Haas. And Sassy Pickle, Adrian Villarreal is going to be in the Ferrari. And we've got Alejandro Gapar, the new championship points leader. Brandon Villegas, Bjorn Langfeld coming off of a much-needed podium last week. Going to be trying to do it again. Jack Yates is going to be in the Renault. Good to see him on track. And then Adam Corrigan, I believe, is who Gravity 151 is, be in the Williams. So we're waiting maybe for a couple of other drivers, but looks like we're going to have a handful of drivers. We do a 18-minute short qualifying session followed by a 50% race here at Brazil. And always a pleasure to do Brazil. And it's one thing I can say about the track listing this year was only 11 tracks for Season 8, and it was voted on by the drivers, so I'm glad that they picked Brazil, a proper F1 track, one of the shortest ones on the circuit. And then from here, we'll move on to the championship round at Singapore, which I'm really surprised was voted on for by the drivers. And Bjorn Langfeld wishing me luck on the commentating side. Appreciate that, Bjorn. We got some people tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. can also get caught up on all the news and notes from previous races. And if you want to see what it was like back in the early days, my first IRL race was actually streamed on my channel back, I think it was season 4. I think it was the first year I did it. Round 1 at Canada. It was, I watched it the other day. I actually did a highlights reel back in the day for that. It was really fun to watch, seeing some of the old drivers, Cameron Weston-Edwards, Brandon Glover, Jimmy McCardo, who actually had a really good race that race at Canada. It was, I actually had Louis' name back then. It was wrong. I was given bad information. It was Louis Quinlan, but I kept calling him Louis Blackman for whatever reason. But the information was given to me was incorrect, so it was kind of funny watching back at Canada all those years ago, calling him Louis Blackman, and it's actually Quinlan, and just seeing some of the old drivers that used to be in the league. So good memories there. Like I said, it's going to be finishing out the season, and don't know what the future holds, but I will definitely not be around for season 9 for the time being. So try and go off on a high. And good to see we've got 19 drivers on the grid today. Been a low car count the past couple of rounds. We had 12 drivers last week. Apparently I missed the notes for round 8, but whatever. 18-minute short qualifying session. We see some of the guys going out on the track. Let's get some of this stuff up in here. We do not want telemetry. We don't need that. There we go. Beautiful Brazil. And we'll pick up Thomas Zentner. Looks like he was the first one out on track. And very short track in comparison to some of the modern day F1 tracks, but a classic nonetheless. Very short Sector 1. Sector 2 is where you make or break your lap. It's where you can gain all your time or lose all your time. And you can see how many cars are out on track already. Sector 3 is very quick as well. And Louis Quinlan has already left the session. Possible internet issues for him already. So not a good sign. So here we go, watching Thomas Zentner starting his first hot lap of the session. Zentner started off strong this season, but the first 3 rounds, but kind of fell apart mid-season, trying to get it back together here. Hopefully he can help out his teammate Logan Aron with Team Haas and maybe get Logan up towards the front today. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1 already. Looks like we've got one of the Renaults off the track, and that was Logan. Is that Epic the Animal who has, oh my goodness. So that is not good. That's going to be bad news bears for Logan Aron. He's out of the qualifying session very early. Never got to set a time. Looks like he had an off at the set of S's. Is that what that is? The 1-2 complex? So Logan's going to be starting at the back end of a 19 grid field. And the yellow flag Sector 2. Meanwhile, Thomas Zentner's going to come across the line to set the first hot lap of the day. And a 107.085 for Thomas Zentner. And here come the times. Ben Fernandez with a 106.932. Alejandro Capar 107.184. So Zentner splitting the Red Bulls as of right now. Peter Sundberg with a 107.727. Bjorn Langfeld 107.386. The times keep flying in. Sassy Pickle 107.281. Rowan Lakely in the other Ferrari 107.507. So unbelievable pick up Thomas Mumford. Looks like he should be on a flying lap. And Ben Fernandez with the divisional pole position, 106.932. Looks like Mumford's having some issues with the car. Possibly some internet issues. They're going to let some of the cars go around him. We'll pick up Jack Yates in the other Renault. So Yates coming out of the final corner now. I'm going to try and get the power down. Trying to get situated here with everything that's been going on. And Jack Yates with a 107.990. He's missed a lot of this season. He's a little bit off the pace. Adam Corrigan did set a lap time of a 108.586. And Catboy Kyle, I don't know who this is. I don't think I have his name, do I? He's heading into the pits. Oh, that's Kieran Spears. That's who that is. Haven't seen him in a couple of rounds, so Kieran Spears back on track. 7th quickest so far. Try and pick up TRT James. TRT James, that's James Torish. He was an F4 driver, so some of these F4 guys, I still don't have all their names together, but currently in Sector 2, and this is really the most important section of this track. We'll ride along with him and really makes or breaks. You can lose so much time through here, and you can gain a lot of time through here if you hit these corners just right. Sector 2 probably the most critical part on this whole track. I mean, obviously Sector 1, Sector 3, flat out for most of it. So all the time to be gained and lost is going to be in Sector 2 and how the handling is set up on the car with the mechanical grip. Because really, for the most part, Sector 2 is not a very fast portion of the track. And a 107.275 for James Torish. Good enough for 4th. Great qualifying effort by him. Brandon Villegas just came across 107.290. He's going to start another flyer. And he's going to be able to get around Torish. And Villegas had a great qualifying effort last week at Spain. Qualified 2nd, finished 4th. He's pretty much been a super sub this year. The Nico Hulkenberg of the league. Didn't really have a full-time seat coming into the season. Was supposed to be a reserve, but with the car count being so low at some of these races, he's been able to get into a lot of the races this season. Coming up on some slower traffic in front of him. Looks like that's one of the Ferraris, but Villegas good enough for 6th so far. Oh, we see Shay Fox is going 2nd fastest with a 107 flat. So 107.077 just out-qualifies Thomas Zentner, who had a 107.084. But right now, Ben Fernandez still provisional pole. The only driver to crack into the 106s. Oh, and I thought I was along for the ride with Villegas, but it looks like he's going to head into the pits. So that was a wasted effort. We'll pick up Peter Sundberg. Looks like he's invalidated his lap time. Currently 11th quickest. Go back to Thomas Mumford. See if Mumford sets a lap time. Looks like we got one of the Williams has gone around. Mumford all the way down to the wall. Does put a time on the board at 107.377. Getting up for 9th quickest so far. Oh, who can we pick up next? We'll pick up Adam Corrigan. He's in Sector 2, just starting to get in Sector 2. Coming off of the straightaway. And he's been good enough for 14th so far. He's the slowest driver to set a time. And, oh, he loses the back end and around he goes. Wow, what was that? And into the wall. Big moment for Corrigan. So carried a lot of speed into that corner and lost the back end big time. And I think that's the second time we've seen that happen with him. There was a Williams around a lap ago while we were watching one of the other drivers, and it might have been him looking at the way that unfolded for him. So we will go back to Sassy Pickle, Adrian Villarreal. And it looks like he's possibly a little bit off the pace. Pick up Jack Yates. Jack Yates is going to come across the line, see if he can improve his time. Currently 13th quickest. and 107.643, so he improves his time, not his position. Eight minutes left to play in the session. And it looks like he's off the pace as well. Don't think anybody's really on a flyer at this point. We'll pick up Peter Sundberg again. He's currently fourth quickest. He's already done 2 laps on these soft tires. He's probably going to be heading back into the pits, I would imagine. He's off the pace as well, so. Pick up Kevin Harrison. Harrison's in Sector 2. Hasn't set a time yet. Been waiting on him to set a time. Purple in Sector 2 goes Kevin Harrison. Can he carry that momentum up the hill and down the straightaway? All the way down to the wall. 107 flat and good enough for third quickest so far. Now, while all that was happening, Ben Fernandez and Alejandro Capar have now gone 1-2 for Red Bull. Harrison, third quickest. Shea Fox is fourth quickest. Thomas Zentner is now fallen back into fifth. And all this is happening. This is bad news bears for Logan Arond. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he DNF'd the qualifying session very early on. Never even got to set a lap time. I'm going to pick up Brandon Villegas as he's coming down the front straightaway. Looks like he's invalidated his time. So we'll ride along with him, see what he can do on a flyer. And Ben Fernandez and Alejandro Gapar are going out on their out laps. Now, Team Red Bull locked up the Constructors' Championship, so good on them for that. But the Driver Championship is wide open between those two, and Ben Fernandez was definitely the A driver in the first part of this season. Alejandro Gapar has come on strong as of late, picking up 3 wins, and especially last week when Ben Fernandez had a DNF, and Gapar was able to overtake him in the championship point standing. So the Drivers' Championship is wide open between those two. Logan Arond, who is not going to be able to set a qualifying time because he crashed out early on in this qualifying session, third in points, but he's going to have his work cut out for him and probably need a miracle if he wants to try and make his way into the championship position and stay in contention heading into the last round. Villegas looks like he's on a pretty good lap. And once again, Brandon Villegas disappoints me as I ride along with him for a hot lap and he heads into the pits. Killing me, Brandon. We'll pick up Thomas Mumford. Mumford 11th quickest so far with a 107.377. And you see the times that are being set by these drivers. And Mumford's going to dive into the pits as well because nobody wants me to see them set a lap time. Pick up Rowan Lakely, currently 12th quickest. But for the most part, 1 second separates first all the way down to 15th. 1 second, and we're going to see Rowan Lakely pull off to the side, and not sure what's going on there as he lets some of the other cars go by. So Rowan Lakely doesn't set a lap time. Kieran Spears will pick up, and he is also going to head into the pits. I'm loving all this pit road action. For the love of God, people, somebody set a time. Adam Corrigan coming down the straightaway. I love it. He's diving into the pits. Jesus Christ, people. Ben Fernandez just set purple, 106.633. So Ben Fernandez has improved his time by 0.3 of a second. Alejandro Gapar looks like he's off the pace, and he's going to be heading into the pits. I'm shocked. We'll pick up Peter Sundberg. Looks like Sundberg may actually be on a hot lap. And Sundberg goes around in the Williams doing his best Ken Block impression and fails miserably. Pick up Bjorn Langfeld coming out of the 1-2 section and validates his lap time immediately. So here's Brandon Vegas on another out lap along with James Torish, along with Thomas Zentner, and Zentner pulls off to the side, letting another car go by. So we'll pick up James Torish, and he invalidates his lap time immediately, so that's all for naught. We'll pick up Brandon Vegas one more time. Ride along with him, see if he dives into the pits at the last second again. That'd be great. Sorry if you can sense my frustration. I hate picking up people diving into the pits, trying to pick up the qualifying action, and I never know who's on an actual flyer. Oh, and Vegas goes around. So he was on a flyer. James Torish has ended his session early. We'll pick up Sassy Pickle, who just came out of the pits. Adrian Avia Royale is going to, I'm sure he's going to set a time, take his time getting around this track. He's 107.160, good enough for 7th quickest so far. Ben Fernandez still sitting on provisional pole, followed by his teammate. Oh, and around goes Sassy Pickle. So, and that's no good news for Adrian Villarreal. He was getting ready to come up the front straightaway, and he is going to have his work cut out for him now. So we'll pick up Thomas Zentner. Zentner looks like he was purple. He's purple in Sector 2. See if he can carry that momentum up the hill and down the front straightaway. .106.936. Good qualifying effort by Zentner. Cracks into the 106. Is good enough for 3rd quickest. And a minute 30 left to play, and it's about to get real busy on track. We'll see a lot of these guys on outlaps. Kevin Harrison, Shay Fox, Ben Fernandez, Alejandro Gapar, Rowan Lakely on another outlap. We're going to pick up Sondre Sauerhog. We haven't watched a whole lot of him. Currently 15th quickest, 107.568 is his best qualifying effort. He's ahead of Jack Yates. And that goes to show you the struggles that Jack Yates has been having this season. Jack Yates is a former championship contender in the F2 tier. In fact, him and Kevin Harrison locked up the Constructors' Championship a couple seasons ago for Alfa Romeo in F2. So James Torish and Peter Sundberg both have their times locked in. 107.146 for Sundberg, currently 6th quickest. Torish locked in at 107.275, currently 9th quickest. We're going to pick up Alejandro Gapar. We'll see what Alejandro can do. Looks like he's 0.07 of a second up on his previous time. That's not going to be enough to overtake his teammate, but he's going to come down. He's going to have enough time to go one more time around. He does improve his time. He goes purple in Sector 3, so he's got the fastest Sector 3 time. We'll pick up Ben Fernandez. Here comes Fernandez. Can he improve upon his time? Now his time will be locked in. Time is up. And a 106.602. Ben Fernandez, that is the time to beat. It looks like Gapar is probably a little bit off the pace. Rowan Lakely with a 106.920. He's locked in. We'll pick up Kevin Harrison. Harrison's purple in Sector 2. Can he carry the momentum up the hill, down the front straightaway? 4, 5, 6. It's going to be close. 106.726. Good enough for second. He splits the Red Bulls. Great qualifying effort. And you see who we've got left. Shay Fox coming down the front straightaway now. Shay Fox, 106.841, good enough for 5th. James Hallworth is in Sector 2 and validated his lap time. That's no good. Here comes Bjorn Langfeld down the front straightaway. We'll pick him up as he comes across the line. And he jumps to 8th on the time charts. Good on him. And it looks like that is going to do it. So no time set by Logan Arond or Louis Quinlan. And that is bad news bears for Logan. third in the championship point stand. He's going to be starting 18th in a 19 grid field. He's going to have his work cut out for him big time. And we've got Eric Pentington on the live stream with us. So here's your starting grid. Ben Fernandez, Kevin Harrison, Alejandro Gapar, Sassy Pickle, Shay Fox, Rowan Lakely, Thomas Sentner, Bjorn Langfeld, Sandre Sauerhall, Peter Sundberg, Kieran Spears, Brandon Villegas, James Torres, James Hallworth, Thomas Mumford, Jack Yates, Adam Corrigan, Logan Aron, and Louis Quinlan. And to answer your question, I don't know how long ago you asked that, Eric, but Epic the Animal, that is Logan Aron, is third in the points with 127. And then we've got Ben Fernandez second in points with 100 and something or other, 44 I believe it is. And then Alejandro Gapar, who is going to be your championship points leader with 156. Looks like a bright and sunshiny day here at Interlagos for the race. We're going to do a 50% race, and here in the penultimate round of Season 8 for IRL, the F3 tier. 19 drivers on track, and we talked about Logan. He's going to have his work cut out for him big time. So this should definitely be a very interesting race. This is the Formula One version of a bull ring. It's a very short track. It's a very narrow track. The racing line is very tight, especially through 1 and 2. You've only got a couple of passing opportunities around this track, and with lap times, just over a minute, it's very quick that stuff can happen. And Eric Gaines is putting his money on Ben Fernandez for the win today. So we're going to run down to the starting grid one more time as you see the tire strategies there. Ben Fernandez with another pole position, second in the point standings, trying to make up for a DNF of last round. Kevin Harrison with a great qualifying effort, trying to get back to his F2 championship form, see if he can snatch a podium today, maybe a win as well. Alejandro Gapar, who's come on strong as of late, your championship points leader, going to be fighting it out with his Red Bull teammate. Sassy Pickle, Adrian Villarreal's had a couple of quick runs this year. Let's see if he can make his way to the podium as well. Shay Fox, always exciting to watch. If he can keep it on the track, he can work his way to a podium for sure. Rowan Lakely has 3 DNFs in a row. He's looking to finish a race as he starts in the 6th spot. Thomas Sentner in the Haas needs to do some work to get towards the front and see if he can help out his teammate Logan Aron. We'll get to him in a minute. Bjorn Langfeld coming off of a second-place finish last week at Spain. See if he can work his way through the field to do it again. And a great qualifying effort by Sandre Sauerhog to go 9th quickest in qualifying. Puts him solidly into the points to see if he can stay there throughout the course of the day. And Peter Sundberg looked like he struggled with some rear-end grip, especially in Sector 2. In qualifying, we'll see if he can work his way through the field. And Kieran Spears just outside the top 10, along with Brandon Villegas. Villegas starting in the 12th spot, had a great qualifying effort last week at Spain, where he qualified second, finished 4th. We'll see if he can work his way through the field, put some points on the board for McLaren today. James Torres starting in the 13th spot, wants to get into the points. Hallworth, coming off a great effort a couple of races ago where he finished 5th, would like to get back to that form. Thomas Mumford starting in 15th. Jack Yates off the pace for him, is starting in the 16th spot. Adam Corrigan is starting in 18th. And Logan Aron, 3rd in the championship point standings behind Ben Fernandez. And Alejandro Gapar has his work cut out for him today as he starts 18th, did not set a time. And Louis Quinlan bringing up the rear of this field, starting in the 19th position. He did not set a time as well. And you can see the Codemasters glitch. Ben Fernandez's fastest lap from qualifying still displayed 106.932. So won't be able to keep up with the fastest lap throughout the course of this race. We're going to wait for the 5 red lights. Action-packed. Lights out. And time to run what you brought. And it looks like it's a great start by Kevin Harrison. And I don't know what happened there, if there was a glitch in the lighting system or not, but Harrison is off to a flying start. And a lot of guys look like they were caught sitting still. Everybody is ghosted. Another quality timing and scoring glitch by Codemasters. So I don't know what's going on. We'll try and pick up everything that's happening. It looks like that's Rowan Lakely made a little bit of contact with one of the cars. Somebody way off track comes back on. Looks like that might have been Bjorn Langfell. It was hard to tell. Lots of action going on in the back. This is Zentner. Woo! It looks like Adam Corrigan has fallen through the field. Louis Quinlan's fallen through the field. James Torsch is around. Logan Arand has worked his way into the 13th spot, starting 18th. Meanwhile, Kevin Harrison, who had a great start to this race, was able to gap the field by a little bit, but it looks like Ben Fernandez is starting to reel him in already. And Ben Fernandez just ran the fastest lap of this race, even though he was not the leader, which doesn't make sense to me. But hey, it's Codemasters. What can you expect? Zentner battling it out with Rowan Lakely. Lakely trying to get underneath him, coming out of the 1-2 complex and down the straightaway. We got a whole slew of cars here, all within 0.3 of a second of each other. Meanwhile, Logan Arand was able to work his way up into the 11th spot. And it's fast and furious here in the opening couple of laps. And Logan Arand is all over the back of Bjorn Langfell, trying to crack his way into the points. Meanwhile, Ben Fernandez trying to get around Kevin Harrison. And it looks like we got a couple of guys on the live chat saying Kevin Harrison jumped the start. Now, I didn't have a good look at the red lights, unfortunately, because of the camera angle that I was at. If that's the case, that's bad news bears for Harrison. Ben Fernandez would subsequently be the leader of this race, which is going to be even more bad news bears for Alejandro Gapar, because Gapar is your championship points leader behind him. So Harrison may have a time penalty assessed at the end of this race. And we see Kieran Spears getting around Sanjay Sauerhawk. Sauerhawk looks like he's run wide. Oh my, look, there goes Logan. He's up into the 10th position. He's finding himself in the points. Sandre falls out of the points, and Logan gets the 2-for-1 deal coming out of that corner. Gets around Bjorn Langfell and Sandre Sauerhawk down that straightaway. And now Logan finds himself sitting in 9th position. Good on him. Meanwhile, Ben Fernandez has closed up onto the back of Kevin Harrison. And Harrison, we got word that he possibly jumped the start. We'll have to see if that penalty, how it gets assessed, when it gets assessed. And it looks like Harrison is going to dive into the pit, so Harrison, it's a drive-through penalty. So there's our answer. Kevin Harrison serving the drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and he is going to fall all the way back to the end of this grid. So now Ben Fernandez is your leader, followed by his teammate Alejandro Gapar, and that is a championship points battle right there. Meanwhile, Sassy Pickle finding himself running in third. Adrian with another scrappy run by him. Shay Fox up into fourth. And Thomas Zentner behind him with Rowan Lakely. Logan Arand, meanwhile, finds himself in 8th now. Just behind Kieran Spears. And Logan has been on a tear since the start of this race. So an unbelievable run for him as he started 18th. He's up to 8th. He's got my vote for driver of the day so far. But a lot of racing left. We're only at lap 4 of 36. Anything can happen. And we see Zentner trying to work his way around Shay Fox. And the DRS will be enabled on lap, well, we're on lap 5, so the DRS has been enabled a couple of laps now. You see how close a lot of these cars are. Track, and around the outside goes Zentner. Great move. Shay Fox with a little bit of a bobble through the S's. And a great move by Thomas Zentner to take over the 4th spot. Meanwhile, Rowan Lakely is going to try and get to the inside of Fox as well. And Rowan Lakely runs a little wide there, cuts it back in tight. He's got Kieran Spears behind him and very into the very slow sector 2. And Brandon Villegas is the first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. And with as close as some of these guys run, oh, we've got a caution sector 2. Oh no, Kevin Harrison retires from the session. Oh no, we've got ourselves a safety car. So Kevin Harrison is out of the race. So we'll see if we can get Kevin in here. Kevin DNF'd a couple of races ago, and he joined us in for the commentary for that race. So safety car is out. And look at this, Logan Aron. He stays out on track. He moves himself up into the 5th spot. Looks like Kieran Spears is the first of the guys to try and jump in and pit to the medium tires. So, Kevin, if you're listening, by all means, jump into the party chat. So now we've got Thomas Zentner is right in front of his teammate, Logan Aron. Now, Thomas, I would like to think, would play a little bit of a team strategy here and let Logan by at the start of this green flag run. Since he is a part of the championship fight, let him get one step closer to getting up towards the front. So we'll see if there's some team strategy in play there. Zentner could definitely help out his teammate. But Zentner, in his own right, was very quick at the beginning of this year. Had three third-place finishes in a row to kick the season off. Really looked like the stronghold for the Haas team. It looked like it was going to be a Haas versus Red Bull season. Zentner fell apart in the middle of the season. Had a couple of bad runs, and unfortunately did find some pace here as of late. We'll see if he can maybe work his way towards the field, but we also want to see if he lets Logan by. And Bjorn Langfell and Brandon Glover would like the tire info up. Good point. Usually do have that up. So there we see who's running on what. And there is Kevin Harrison. Kevin, man, your day started off bad and went to worse.
I'm not sure if you were talking to me a second ago because it took a while. Well, maybe it didn't, but it might have said that I joined before I actually did. Yeah, it did go from bad to worse. Obviously, I had that drive-through, which was just completely my fault, and then Adam was spinning and I was unlucky to come off bad from that, and another DNF goes in the records. So yeah, it's not great, but I mean, I would like to come. I mean, I know that the party invite was already there, so.
Well, by all means, it's good that it worked out that way. It's also unfortunate it worked out that way. But always good to have a driver's perspective in the booth with me. I mean, I didn't have a good look at the start. I didn't have a good look at the lights, but it looks like obviously you would jump the start.
Yeah.
Was there a long pause there between the 5th red light and them going out, or just she timed it bad, or?
It's kind of, I was checking my revs and my revs weren't so good, and I think that the minute that my revs were like optimal, I just kind of like, my brain just kind of went, okay, it's finally good, and it wasn't before, and it's been a while, so like I guess I just kind of went like, it's good now, so go, and the lights weren't out, so.
That's unfortunate. I couldn't tell if you had gotten a great start or not, but
yeah, restart now though.
Yeah, it looks like we're back to some green flag racing, and trying to see if there's going to be any team orders between Logan and Thomas Zentner for Haas. See if Thomas is going to let Logan by since he's in the championship points battle, but it doesn't look like that's the case so far.
Yeah, he has actually. Yeah, there you go. On the exit, he actually did just that. Logan Logan gets led past by his teammate there. So
good on Thomas Zentner to let him by, and that is third in the championship point standings. Unfortunately, he's got Sassy Pickle now in front of him, Adrian Villarroel, and Logan making a lot of ground up today in the opening number of laps that we've had. But these guys are out in front. The first 8 drivers all on the soft tires. how far are these soft tires going to go before we got to make a switch over?
Well, I mean, my pit lap was meant to be lap 14, so that should be when all these soft runners are going to be pitting. With the safety car though, it does shake it up quite a bit, because those hard runners can definitely go to the end. The mediums won't be able to, no chance, they'll puncture. So they'll have to go back on softs by the end. But those hards, the hard runners should make it, just about. So they could throw a spanner in the works, because obviously these two Red Bulls are going to be fighting right to the end, because they're in a championship fight, obviously simply leading Benji right now. So in the championship fight, not on track. So yeah, they'll be fighting really hard, and once they finally come in for their stops at around lap 14, those hard runners are going to be in front of them, which should bring them close together on track. And obviously I commentated over F1, and just that happened, that markers back to 2 to be fighting, and we actually got a really good battle from it. So obviously these two Red Bulls being in a championship fight will make that fighting even more, they'll fight harder for it, I think. And obviously Logan as well, you can never count him out. He's behind the Ferrari. That Ferrari could actually throw a spanner in the works, you know, because he has shown pace before. I mean,
yeah, Adrian Villarreal's definitely had some pace in a couple races this year, and I think he's got a podium to his credit. And to your testament, Brandon Glover did come on the live chat and say that he didn't think that the hards would be able to make it all the way to the end of this race. So the interesting thing there is that the guys that are on the medium tires are going to have to pit again. Do they run long enough to possibly be able to pit and run softs to the end, or is it going to have to be another medium?
No, they should be going for softs, unless they broke their softs in quali. I mean, they can't have used them too much that they're unusable. Like the standard strut is a soft medium, or medium soft. So obviously if they're going to put on mediums later on in the race, as they did, then softs will cover the last bit of the race, but they will definitely have to pit again.
And as you did talk about the championship points battle, Ben Fernandez spreading the gap now, 1.4 second gap back to Alejandro Gapar. Now Gapar is your championship points leader heading into the race, but Fernandez trying to make that up. And then obviously Logan Aron running in the 4th spot, trying to stay in contention. Hasn't been able to get around Adrian just yet. And it looks like we've got Shay Fox trying to make a move, going around the outside of Bjorn Langfeld down the straightaway. And that was very tight, coming up against the pit wall. And we've got Ima D saying that softs can do about 15 laps, mediums 20, and hards 26. So it'll be tight. So the tire battle, I think, is going to be the defining factor towards the end of this race. And once again, it looks like finally Logan's actually really close. He's definitely within striking distance now, trying to make a move on Adrian as they head up the hill into Sector 2. Very tight section here, and I talked about it a little bit in qualifying, but Sector 2 is so critical at this track. It seems to be where you can make up all your time or lose all your time. Being a driver, is it hard to set up a track like this, because Sectors 1 and 3 are so wide open, and then Sector 2 is so tight? How do you try and find the balance as far as the wing setup and the mechanical grip?
Well, usually for this track you do kind of want a balanced rear wing at least, and then your front wing would be a little more towards the front, because the front wing is the main thing that gives you straight line speed, and then your rear wing would be a little more back to give you that extra stability going through the corners, which is what most of the drivers, I'd say, would be doing. And then obviously you also certainly need some stability, because going through turns like 5 and 6, you do need a little stability from that, because it is easy to lose a car there. And also I think it's turn 8, the really the really long left-hander that they're approaching. Ben Fernandez now going through it. The exit of that corner can be very awkward on traction, so you're certainly going to need Rowan, I think you were going to mention.
Yeah, Rowan Lakely going around, trying to come up the hill, and looks like he's on the hard tires. And I was watching Epic, Logan looking like he's kind of struggling a little bit to get ahead of Sassy Pickle, and looks like he's starting to hold up a little bit of traffic behind him. His teammate is all over the back of him, and he's bringing Shay Fox and Bjorn Langfeld with him. So Logan hasn't been able to make that move past Sassy Pickle. Might have to, because now it looks like Adrian's starting to look to maybe close in on Alejandro. So the battle for second is starting to heat up. Logan's not able to capitalize on Thomas Zentner letting him by, and he just picked up a 3-second time penalty, which is going to be critical towards the end of this race, especially if the cars are running as close now as they are, you know, at the end. And I think in qualifying first through, you know, 15th, we're only separated by 1 second on track. So time penalties are going to be critical at the end of this race. And Logan looks like he might have burned off these soft tires running through the field. And look at this,
on Thomas Zentner there. He had a look. He was closing quite a bit, and you can see how much closer he is. Really, he's been within striking distance for a while. He just hasn't been able to get that just a little bit extra that he needed. He had a look, but it hasn't worked out on this occasion. I would at least keep an eye on those two, because it seems like Lanfield just has a little more pace right now.
And it looks like Logan is actually trying to make a move coming down the front straightaway. He's got the DRS advantage, and it looks like we had a couple of cars hitting pit road. Logan not close enough. Dives in deep at the last second, gets inside of Adrian. They bump a little bit, but he finally makes the move. That's going to put him into second place, because Ben Fernandez was one of the cars that dived into the pits. Looks like he's going to go for the undercut and try and extend his gap on Alejandro. Now, Alejandro is now 0.7 of a second in front of Logan.
Yeah, there's that lap 14 I was talking about earlier. That's pretty much when...
Oh, and Rowan Lakely has retired from the session. Looks like he's gone into the pits and called it a day. Unfortunately, that's now 4 DNFs in a row for Rowan Lakely in the Ferrari.
Yeah, it seems he has had a bit of a bad run of it. As yellow flags, of course, in sector 1 as well. Doesn't look like there'll be a virtual, which is not so good for Simply, because the virtual right now would be perfect, and it should bring him out ahead of Benji. Benji going for an undercut. He's behind Adam Corrigan there. Looks like Adam Corrigan's struggling a little bit, especially compared to Benji on his fresh hards now, so I would expect a move from Benji coming down the straight. I'm sure it'll be close, considering that Benji will have to make this overtake now. He's up the back, going towards the grid line. Down the inside, it looks like he'll have this move just done for the corner, and there you go, slam dunk up into P14. But now the crucial thing is, where is Simply? Simply hasn't pit.
No, Alejandro has... Alejandro and Logan have both stayed out on these tires now. We're now definitely hitting the 14 lap threshold. You know, we talked about it earlier. 14, 15 lap is going to be the area where you want to pit. Well, we did have a couple of laps under the safety car because of your incident, so they might be able to stretch him another couple of laps. And it looks like Rowan Lakely's car is now cleared of the track as well. So Shea Fox is kind of sitting in the catbird seat here. He's only got 8 laps on those soft tires. So it looks like when he pitted for another set of softs. So he might be going soft, medium, which he would be able to take towards the end. So Shea Fox maybe trying to play an alternate tire strategy to some of these guys.
No, actually, Simply came in. Well, Alejandro Capara, I'll say. Logan stays out, interestingly. He's going to stretch his mediums another lap. Well, his softs another lap, I don't even know what I'm saying. But those softs would be really dead right now, and especially with Shea Fox right behind him. I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to make a move, even in these corners, because like that is a 6-lap tire difference. And of course Logan should be really struggling a lot right now, and you can kind of see the grip difference coming through the corners, that Shea Fox just has a little bit more confidence given the better tires that he's on right now. So would expect a move if Logan stays out any more than this, and really if he does, then he'll be kind of ruining his race, I think, because he's not going to gain enough at the end compared to what he's losing right now.
And while you were going on about that, I was keeping track of Ben Fernandez and Alejandro Gapar and where they came out, and Ben Fernandez was able to capitalize. He's sitting in 11th spot right now. Gapar came out of the pits 14th, so he's got to get through Thomas Zentner and Adam Corrigan before he can get back to his teammate.
Yeah,
and now here comes
like he's
Logan
making a move on Jack Yates. Maybe he probably could have went for a dive into the final corner, but he thought better of it, and now he's going to have the overspeed. He's going to be in the slipstream as well. DRS and activation. He's going to be on the outside. Will he be able to make this move before the corner, though? It would really help him out to extend the gap over his teammate. Jack is going to keep it
Jack
there.
Yates is trying to make it hard for him, but... Oh, and Yates looks like he might have outbraked himself a little bit. And there's a pass going on behind them. That's Corrigan, and here comes Logan. Logan's going to come out of this right into the mix. And Logan gets right back in line. He's 13th. He's going to have his work cut out for him.
Crucially ahead of Gopar there.
And that is
of course,
good on
he went
Logan.
for a massive overcut. He's going to be on slightly fresher tires, I think. So that's very good for him.
Ben Fernandez, the big winner in all of this, currently running in the 9th spot, and he's actually, of the 3 championship contenders, is the only one running back in the points right now. Now, obviously, that's going to shake up towards the end of this race. We're only halfway through. But good on Logan to get out in front of Alejandro. Alejandro's pit strategy, unfortunately, did not play out the way I think he wanted it to.
Yeah, and there's also Adrian 15th. It looks like he's maybe lost out a little bit. He was running, I think, ahead of Logan before the pit stops. He pit quite I think a lap or two earlier compared to him. As we see now, Adam Corrigan's getting passed by Logan Aaron, then he's going to go right around the outside. It looks like, yeah, inside for the next corner, more grip, slam dunk move there. And he makes his way up into P12. Also Thomas Zentner making his way up to P10, trying to chase after Ben Fernandez, who makes a move for 8th now on James there.
And so he sets his sights on Thomas Mumford.
Really making a move, making moves a bit quicker than the guys behind, which is very good for him, because once all these guys pit, then he'll be out of DRS range, which is very crucial for this track, because it's you can really lose out a lot without the DRS.
I think the one cog in this machine is going to be Machine Fishy. Shay Fox running 5, and he's diving into the pits. So this is, I was just going to say, he's got 11 laps on his soft, so he's going to dive into the pits. Him coming out in the midst of this, he could be the one cog that might ruin this for some of these guys. And we're going to pick up Ben Fernandez now.
To the end.
Now Fernandez is going to easily be able to get by. Looks like Thomas Mumford. But where is Shay Fox going to come out in the midst of all this?
Yeah, he's finally got out of the pit lane now. He's going to be coming out the very long pit exit. It looks like Logan Arons is going to be quite close with him, maybe. And he
looks like Logan is going to get out in front of him, so that's good.
Jack Yates.
But look at this. It looks like Shay Fox gets out in front of Alejandro. So Alejandro has not been able to make any headway since coming out of the pits. He's still running in the 14th spot. Logan is now back into the points. Looks like Alejandro trying to make a move on Adam Corrigan. Gets to the inside. They make a little bit of contact up the hill.
And Adam goes a little bit wide there. That must be maybe a little bit grip. Obviously outside line, when you have to give space, isn't so easy as well. So yeah, he kind of had to concede that. There was no really winning that fight. 10 laps almost between their tires.
And now we've got Logan Aron is now closing back in on his teammate Thomas Zentner for the 9th spot. And Thomas Zentner is actually in a battle for position with James Hallworth for the 8th. So be interesting to see if they do another team strategy, if Thomas Zentner is going to let Logan by again. Zentner's going to make the move to the inside. And Zentner does make the move for the 8th spot, so he does get by James Hallworth. And Logan just set the fastest lap, and he's going to have the DRS advantage. He's bringing Shay Fox with him. Fox has got a good run coming out of the 1-2 complex and down the straightaway. And Fox just set the fastest first sector. He's going purple in sector 1, so Shay Fox is on a tear since coming out of the pits. Meanwhile, Ben Fernandez still running in the 6th spot. He's 4 seconds behind 5th, so he's kind of running all by his lonesome right now. The battle going on here for the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th spot, though, is where all the action is. Meanwhile, Alejandro has finally gotten past Adam Corrigan up into 13th, but still out of the points. Kieran Spears currently your leader to the tune of 0.6 of a second over James Torish, but those guys have yet to pit.
James is going to be coming in as well.
And James is going to be pitting.
He pits just behind his teammate.
That's going to move Sondre Sauerhog up into 2nd spot. Good on Sondre.
Yeah, and Sondre should be going to the end as well. So he is legitimately in P2, and people like Ben Fernandez and that will have to catch up. They probably will by the end of this race, but Obviously, overtaking is another story.
And so, Shay Fox trying to go around the outside of James Hallworth down the straightaway. Hallworth trying to take the defensive line away, and Fox is not going anywhere. He sticks to the outside, runs into the grass a little bit, cuts back across. That was a tight one. Oh, and he's all over the gearbox of James Hallworth. How can you even see the braking line? Unbelievable run by these guys, and Logan back up into 8th. He is behind Thomas Mumford, so Mumford is separating the two Haas's right now. Oh, and there's contact. It's Fox to the inside of Hallworth.
Wide, and that's going to allow Logan to go right around the outside of
and
Mumford.
Logan to the outside, and there we go. Good call by Kevin there.
Mumford seemed to get on the grass on the left a little bit and had to correct his car, and just kind of put him off track, which gave him much worse exit compared to Logan, which allowed Logan to go straight through. Shay Fox not looking like he can make a move as Mumford actually looks for a move on Logan.
Whoa, around goes Hallworth! No, that's Shay Fox. He went in too deep, lost the back end, and he's stuck at turn 1, having to let the cars go by. So Shay Fox a little overzealous in the braking zone, and it cost him a bunch of positions. He falls back into 16th.
James Torish, interestingly, going on mediums instead of softs to the end. Actually, well, thinking about it, softs wouldn't be able to make it to the end. From
looks like Jack Yates has had an issue. He's going around, and Shay Fox is going to go by him. And yeah, you did mention that James Torish is on the medium tires, so currently down in the 14th spot.
Yeah, the two Haas's running 6th and 7th. Now Logan behind his teammate once again. Thomas did let him through earlier, so you would expect if Logan caught up that he would do the very same. Once again, of course, Logan is trying to fight for a championship here that Ben really is looking like an advantage right now. In this position, he would gain 5th is 10 points as we get a virtual safety car, so we can
virtual safety car because Shay Fox has looks like he's probably called it a day. Not sure.
It is an easy corner to lose it, so I think maybe he because I know if he used like Rich and overtake, it is easy to lose the car there on the corner that he did lose it, so probably went straight into the wall like that. So that's unfortunate.
But it did allow Logan to catch up to Zentner, and as you said, we saw Zentner let him by earlier. Would he let him by again? And you can see just ahead of him, there's Ben Fernandez, and that is critical for really at this point for Logan to get in front of Zentner, to get up there to fight with Ben Fernandez. Both of those guys, Fernandez and Logan, could definitely close the gap to Alejandro, because Alejandro's still sitting in 10th.
Yeah,
and we're back to green flag racing. The DRS is going to be enabled. Now, will Zentner
pit? He does pit. He's currently on the mediums. It'll be interesting to see if he goes softs or mediums for his final stop. He can do either, as far as I'm aware. I think he was in the top 10.
And so it looks like Zentner is going to let. Does look like Zentner's going to let Logan go by, and the battle now at the front is Brandon Villegas and Sandre Sauerhog, our resident Kimi Räikkönen, will say. The most F1 starts in the league for good old Sandre.
Yeah, not doing too badly, running in P2 just behind Miller and Fair, who, or Brandon Villegas, I should say, who seems to have actually got past him. I'm pretty sure Sandre was running ahead of him like a lap or two ago, so obviously an overtake happened there. That
he made the pass at the beginning of the green flag restart from the virtual safety car, so... but that moves Ben Fernandez is into 3rd spot, so he's on the podium. He's got Logan right behind him. So 12 laps to go in this race, and Sandre Sauerhog and Brandon Villegas both going to be running, well, all three of those guys are running on hard. It's going to go all the way to the end. Logan's going to be possibly the wild card. He's only got 6 laps on those medium tires. So we'll see if that helps him towards the end of this race, but he's also got that 3-second time penalty that he's got to worry about as well. So Logan trying to do everything he can to stay a part of this championship fight. And really, that, for what it's worth, I'm you know, it's too bad you were out of the race, but your safety car definitely shook up this running order big time. as it came at a very opportune time for some of these drivers. And to see somebody like Sondre Sauerhog, if Sondre walked away with a podium finish today, I mean, that's a crowd favorite right there. I mean, Sondre is such a character off the track. He's a lovable guy. He's been with IRL forever. And that would be a real crowd pleaser to see that. And Brandon Villegas has shown some speed this year. He's really been the Nico Hulkenberg, the super sub this year. He didn't have a full-time ride. He's been a reserve driver, but because the car count's been so off in a lot of these races, he's been able to make it to a lot of them, and he's shown some speed this year.
He is a full driver now in McLaren.
Oh,
so you know. I'm not sure if you know.
But he did start off as a reserve, right? That is correct.
He did, yeah.
Okay.
You're right in saying that.
So, good on that then. But yeah, Villegas has definitely showed some speed, so really interesting top 4 running order right now as we see James Hallworth is going to dive into the pits. He's got 18 laps on those medium tires. He could switch over to the softs, and it looks like Kieran Spears has done that. Kieran has switched over to the softs, along with Peter Sundberg, and a lot of these guys making second pit stops. Adam Corrigan, James Hallworth, Sassy Pickle, Jack Yates, all making pit stops for fresh soft tires. So the back of this field could really get shaken up here.
Yeah, it certainly could. I mean, all those soft runners, I mean, the top 9 are either on mediums or hards. Mumford should be going to the end as far as I know. Oh yeah, he should be with Sondre and Brandon. So yeah, these soft runners, Kieran Spears especially, he's not too far off the grid, so he should have an advantage to the end. At the very end, I'd say those softs will drop off, but for now he has an advantage to really get a move on and start making places.
Meanwhile, Logan has not really been able to make up a whole lot of ground on Ben Fernandez. The gap is almost 2 seconds. But really, for what it's worth, Ben Fernandez and Logan are both losing a little bit of time to Sondre and Brandon Villegas. Ben Fernandez is floating just outside and inside of the DRS range. Logan's still floating around that 1.5, 1.7. He's got Thomas Zentner coming with him. Zentner's only a half second behind. Zentner playing the good teammate card, though, staying behind him, trying to let Logan get as many points as he can. Meanwhile, Alejandro has moved his way up into the 6th spot because of the pit sequence. So Thomas Zentner needs to play block now for Logan, even though, that's going to take a little while. Alejandro's 4 seconds behind, 5th place Thomas Zentner. So, but once he gets there, he definitely needs to play block for that.
There is also a question of if he gets there, though, because the tires are pretty much very similar, at least. Obviously, Logan is pulling his teammates through, so the 2-lap older tires that he has over Gopar shouldn't really matter, considering the DRS will kind of negate that advantage that he'll have. So, yeah, he might not be unless they start fighting. Of course, those two asses aren't too far off Benji, and Benji will be getting held up for at least that lap, this lap behind Sondre and Brandon. So, yeah, this is really the Haas's chance to really make some gains on Benji now.
And Kieran Spears just made a move around Bjorn Langfeld for the 9th position. And, yeah, to your point, this is really a critical time. This is when Logan really needs to take advantage of this because...
Look, 1.2 seconds now. The gap has come down by almost 5/10.
Now, Villegas is really going to be the one that is... he's going to be at the disadvantage because Sondre and Ben Fernandez are both going to have the DRS advantage down the straightaway.
And Logan got in the DRS as well, crucially. For his championship, he's going to have to beat Benji if he wants any chance of staying in it for the last round. I'm not completely sure how it's going to work out as Sondre makes a move.
Sondre makes a move to the outside, and Sondre takes it going into the turn 1. And Villegas, as we said, he was going to be at the disadvantage, but now Sondre is going to be at a disadvantage because Brandon and Ben will both have the DRS advantage.
Yeah,
and here comes Brandon.
Benji's just getting held up by both of them. He can't actually make an overtake. Logan's gonna be
oh, and Sondre hangs tough. He hangs onto the lead. Villegas side by side as they head up the hill to the right-hander, and around the outside tries to go Villegas. Sondre's trying to push him wide. Sondre hanging tough. Logan now becoming a part of this battle. Here comes Logan. And Simply now starting.
Simply lovely from Sondre there. Beautiful defending, and he's kept the lead. So he's really on it. He's not giving up at all. Proving that like he is here and he's not going anywhere anytime soon. He's showing that. Benji's been held up by these guys for like 3 laps, and this allowed Logan to really get up the back of him now. So we could see a fight between these guys. Of course, Gopar's leading the championship. He's not too far off. If these guys keep fighting, it could end up being like a 4, 5,
and here
6
comes Fernandez. Fernandez dives to the inside down towards turn 1, and Fernandez is going to try and take it, and he's almost going to outbreak himself. And now Sondre Sauerhog has to worry about Fernandez.
Oh, and it looks like
Big is trying to come back.
Brandon's got a better exit though, and it looks like Sondre might lose out here.
Oh, and Sondre's going to lose out on 2 spots. Fernandez makes the move. Can Vegas get it back? Big lockup from the left front from Fernandez. And this is not what Logan wanted to see. We've got a yellow flag, sector 3. That is Adam Corrigan, it looks like, it going around. Oh, and Sondre is still here. Fernandez, though, out in front. And Epic the Animal, Logan Aron running into 4th spot. He's got some bad luck this year when it's come to safety cars and some pit strategy. Brandon Villegas is now holding up Sondre Sauerhog, who is holding up Logan Aron. Ben Fernandez is starting to skip away. But you know Sondre and Brandon are not going to go quietly into the night. These guys want those podium positions, especially Sondre.
Yeah, he hasn't. I don't think he's got a podium this season either, so he'll be really happy if he got one. He's closing just a little bit on Brandon. Doesn't look it's going to be enough. Of course, Logan's really closing up. He's going to be able to break late on those mediums, and it looks like he's going to have to move on Sondre Sauerhog there, and he does make it. As Thomas
and a big wiggle by Logan as he comes out of the corner. And Sondre's lost a couple of more positions now. He's down into 5th, but timing penalties I still think are going to be crucial towards the end of this race. And Brandon Villegas just picked up a 3-second time penalty as we spoke about it.
Yeah, as far as I know, I don't think Sondre or any of these top guys apart from Brandon now has pens, unless they got one early on. Of course, me being a driver, I couldn't see all of the race, but
I think Logan has one. I think Brandon has one.
As Sondre makes a mistake there. I think he's dropped to 6th there. A massive mistake going through, I think, turn 7 or 8.
Yep, and that let Alejandro Gopar go by for the 5th spot.
Brandon's still running in 2nd, so he's doing quite well. But now Logan can close up. DRS for him.
He's going to make the pass.
And he's going to make that. Thomas is going to be running behind him. If he goes for a massive dive bomb, he might just do it. He could have probably, but he's going to sit on for now.
He thought about it.
Think better of it. As now he gets a much better exit, and this should be a slam dunk move as he activates DRS. He has no ERS, neither does Brandon either, so he's going to have to do this all in the brakes, down the
side by side,
and it looks like he's going to have it there.
He's got it.
2 houses get by Brandon.
Epic now needs to try and make up a 1-second gap to get to Ben Fernandez.
Brandon.
Getting Villegas and Fernandez mixed up.
Yeah.
And the laps are winding down. Can Logan catch him, and can he get by him is going to be the other thing. It's one thing to catch a driver. It's another thing to get by him. Plus, we've got the time penalties that could be crucial at the end of this race. And this championship fight is not over, as these two guys are going to be able to make up points on Alejandro Gopar, keep them both in contention with each other. But really, I think Logan really has to finish in front of everybody if he wants to try and stay in any type of contention and carry this into the last round.
Yeah, Logan really needs to win this race if he wants any chance at the championship. I mean, I think he'll know it as he gets a 3-second penalty there.
And that is going to be crucial. That's the second one he's gotten.
So this could drop him behind his teammate, unless his teammate did some sort of hold-up job to secure a P2 for Logan. I'm not sure if that P2 would even be enough to keep him in it. Benji running 2nd in the championship. He'll take the championship lead, gaining 15 points on his teammate. His teammate will be scoring 10 compared to Benji's 25. So it's looking like a really good day for Benji. Of course, the laps aren't over yet. You can still make mistakes. Obviously the pressure is going to be on these drivers as well, especially on Logan. Any mistake from Logan could just see his championship just wash away. just in front of his eyes. So yeah, a lot of pressure on these drivers to really at least keep it where they are now.
And Logan has lost a little bit of time. He's now 1.2 seconds back from Ben Fernandez. And the lap's winding down, as you said. So, Logan, I really think at this point really just needs to... and a 10-second time penalty for Adam Corrigan for corner cutting. Good Lord, Adam. Adam currently running into 14th spot, so that's inconsequential. Kieran Spears picks up another position as he just got by Thomas Mumford for the 8th spot. But I think Logan at this point really needs to do damage control, not make any more mistakes, and not make his day any worse than it already is. He's already going to drop a couple of spots for sure.
You keep commenting there. I'm just going to check if where he is going to be enough to keep it or not.
And James Hallworth just picked up another 3-second time penalty, so Logan Aron is closing the gap down to Ben Fernandez, but it's inconsequential. I don't think Fernandez has a time penalty to his credit. Meanwhile, we've got TRT James. That's James Torres looking to make a move on Sandre Sauerhog. Sandre, whose race has come unraveled a little bit, ran up front towards a few laps ago in the middle of this part of this race, but he's lost a few positions now, down into 6th, but cars getting spread out a little bit now. Thomas Zentner is the only one within striking distance of a podium, and Thomas doesn't need to make a move on his teammate. He's going to get that position with 2 laps to go. But James Torres looking to make a move to the inside of Sandre Sauerhog, and these guys are side by side through the 1-2 complex. And Torres is going to have a good run as he goes to the outside, and he's able to make that pass easily with the DRS advantage. Meanwhile, Peter Sundberg making a move on Thomas Mumford for the 10th spot, or for the 9th spot, I should say. And Bjorn Langfell coming with him. Langfell outside of the points. His pit sequence has messed him up today. And Kieran Spears just picked up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently running in 8th. So that could cost him. That could actually push him out of the points. So things still looking to be shooken up a little bit. So
okay, it looks like Logan, if he finishes 2nd, he'll barely still be in the championship fight. He'll be 24
and Zentner's going into the pits. What's going on here? Drive-through or?
Not sure.
Pitting for a fresh set of softs.
Yeah, he might be going for fastest lap to take it off Benji. I think Benji's the one who has it, as far as I.
And Zentner is got 4-wheel drive apparently, and he's done.
And he's out.
Okay, so that was odd.
Yeah, certainly quite odd. I mean, like, it's not going to cause a safety car or anything, because within the last 3 laps it can't. So I don't know what he was thinking there, but...
Well, and the other glitch there was that his pit box was actually past the start-finish line, so he was already on the last lap of the race when he put on the soft tires, so trying to garner fastest lap would have been inconsequential. He wouldn't have been able to do it, so... Unbelievable. So here we go. Ben Fernandez is going to come across the line with a big win. Logan Aron is 2nd. Brandon Villegas is going to come across 3rd, but timing penalties are going to be issued. What's going to happen here?
And
look at that. Alejandro to 2nd. Oh, my goodness. So top 3 in the points, finished top 3 in the race, and James Torres gets credit for 4th. Villegas drops to 5th. Sandre is 6th. Kieran Spears 8th, Thomas Mumford down to 9th, and Peter Sundberg is 10th. That rounds out the top 10 points paying positions, and Ben Fernandez able to close the points gap a little bit, and actually those two are going to be really close in points at the next round. Logan Aron, I'm pretty sure is...
I think he's out of it. He needed a P2 there to keep in it. So he's just going to be, I think, like 27 points off. So it's just not enough for him.
Yeah, I mean, a win with the fastest lap and 2 DNFs from the front runners wouldn't even be able to get him what he needed. But Epic the Animal does get driver of the day, starting in the 18th position and finishing in 3rd. So good on him for that. Unbelievable run, especially in the opening stint. And Sanjay Sourhog saying he is happy, even though he did have a couple of bottles throughout the course of the race. So the Bottle Hog able to put some points on the board for Alfa Romeo. And there you see Ben Fernandez. We've seen that sight all too many times this season. But him and Alejandro Gapar are going to take the Red Bull Championship fight into the final round next week at Singapore, where we will finish out Season 8 for IRL. And unbelievable race today. So here's the unofficial results. And I didn't see too many incidences on track. So Ben Fernandez with the win. Alejandro Gapar is second. Logan Aron finishes third. James Torres is fourth. Brandon Villegas is fifth. Sanjay Sourhog sixth. Bjorn Langfell seventh. Kieran Spears is eighth. Thomas Mumford ninth. Peter Sundberg is 10th. James Hallworth 11th. Adrian Villarroel is 12th. Jack Yates is 12th. Flip Flop Fish, Thomas Zentner is the first of the DNFs, followed by Adam Corrigan, Louis Quinlan, Shay Fox, Rowan Lakely, and Kevin Harrison, who has been with me in the booth since an early part of this race.
I just did a little table. 5 points between those two Red Bull drivers right now. Benji closes up. He doesn't take the championship lead. Alejandro still has it by 5 points. So pretty much, if it finishes like this next week, then we will be crowning Benji as champion, and if it's the other way around, then Simply will be champion.
Or it could be all for naught, and somebody needs to finish in front of the other one. So, but Singapore, very, very, very tricky track, and I talked about it earlier on. It's kind of surprising to me that you guys let the drivers vote on what tracks that they wanted to race at, and Singapore I wouldn't have thought would have made that, and but it's going to be for the championship round. So everybody tune in next week. Like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel for sure. Check us out on Twitter at F1_IRL. The championship round for Season 8 is going to be next week for F3. And F1 obviously was already locked up a couple of weeks ago by Matthew Alder. So congratulations, Alder, 3-time F1 champion, actually making it 3 in a row. I think F5 is still wide open, though, isn't it?
Not sure. I think it could have been wrapped up today. I think Tim was leading over Jared Fosbury there. So depends what happened today in their race then.
Well, be sure to like and subscribe and comment. Check us out on Twitter, because that'll be where you find all that information for sure. And we're going to take the F3 battle all the way to the last round of the season, round 11, Singapore next week.
Where if Benji wins, then he will take the championship by 2 points. If Simply was second with fastest lap, then he would take it by 1. So very close between them two.
Or they could finish 5th and 6th, and it might be a whole different story.
Yeah, lots of different configurations that it could be, given they're so close.
So, guys, it's been great. And again, not to end it on a sour note, but next week will be my last round with IRL for the foreseeable future. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I had to make mention of it earlier today. I mentioned it to Sandre earlier in the week. I've got some personal matters in my life that need to be attended to, and I won't have as much time moving forward, at least for the foreseeable future. So next week will be my last round. I won't be around for at least Season 9 that I know of, but if things change, I'll definitely be trying to be back for sure. But right now, it's about the championship battle. It's not about KAMIKAZE-FOX. So IRL is going to be where it's at next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see everybody at the next round.